So there has been yet another Bitcoin and Ethereum hack that happened today. So we're going to be talking about that along with some pretty bad news that has come out of Tesla, some good news that came out of Volvo. We're going to be talking about Lyft, another big retailer that has gone bankrupt, two major acquisitions that have gone on today. We're talking billions of dollars, along with our normal stock market winners and losers. But anyways, let's talk about this Bitcoin and Ethereum hack. This is yet another one. We've been seeing these essentially every single week, but here's yet another one. This was one of the biggest in terms of privacy hacking and one of the smaller ones in terms of actual money that was stolen. So anyways, there is this Bitcoin Ethereum exchange that's in South Korea, obviously not North Korea. They're too busy launching missiles into the sea every day. This South Korean exchange had 3% of its users' privacy stolen, essentially. So we're talking email addresses, names, phone numbers, and so on. And so what does this mean? I mean, it's not too big in terms of monetary, in terms of money that they actually stole. So apparently they stole between $10,000 and $50,000 worth of actual Bitcoin. And so actually the company Bithumb, the exchange that it was actually stolen from, they just announced that every person that was affected by this will receive $87. Whether the money was stolen from their account or not, they're going to get $87 for having their information stolen. Also, they also announced that for people that did have money taken out of their account, which will range from $1,000, or I guess $1,000 to roughly $50,000 if it was just one person hacked, but it's going to be more. So they're going to get completely refunded for whatever money was stolen from them. But this just brings up again one of the reasons why I don't really like investing in cryptocurrency right now, is just that it's just your information's out there. It can be hacked easier than your stock account for the most part. I guess it could be. I don't even know. Has there been any stock like E-Trade account hacks, or whatever brokerage stock hacks? I haven't even heard of one. And so, but yeah, we're seeing these every single week. Hackers are getting in there. They're stealing information. They're stealing money, and I don't know if doesn't seem to be deteriorating. It doesn't seem to be deteriorating those investors out there. It doesn't seem to be deterring investors, what I meant to say. And so the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum just keeps going up, except for right after this announcement happened, I did notice that the Bitcoin price dropped down almost 1%, and then it rebounded 1.3%, so Bitcoin's gone up today. So, because that's just how the market works, right? Bad news comes out, and then who cares? After it sets in for a few hours, it's like, it's just news. So I just want to ask you guys, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies as a whole? I have some numbers right here. Since May, actually in May, $6 million was stolen in cryptocurrency. In essentially a week in May, 1 week in May. That was the last really big one. And since then, including that, there's been, 6 to $10 million stolen in cryptocurrency. And that could have been in your account. What if the exchange didn't want to refund you? What if it was a bigger hack? And it was, instead of 10 million, it was 100 million, and an entire exchange goes under and can't pay you back. What happens then? I mean, it might not. I know I'm really just kind of acting like I'm against cryptocurrency right now. I'm okay with it. I'm not going to invest in it, but I'm okay with it. It's just, what do you guys think about all this hacking that's going on? You guys probably don't know. There's at least one hack every single week, and it's in other hacks too. So we're not just talking about actual exchanges. We're talking about, remember the big hack that happened in the UK, the medical field that I was talking about a few weeks ago, where it was a ransomware, went to attack UK computers. It also attacked Russian oil computers, and recently attacked US pharmaceutical computers. So big companies, and they're ransoming for Bitcoin. For Bitcoin, we're not talking about credit card information, we're not talking about bank deposits or going and getting gift cards or whatever. We're talking about cryptocurrency, because it's largely untraceable for the most part. For the most part, apart from apparently these exchanges do have some sort of password that goes along with specific trades, which is how the hackers were able to find people's information on here. So I just wanted to mention that to you guys. So what do you guys think of Bitcoin, Ethereum? What do you guys think of privacy? How it seems all these exchanges are so easily hackable. Does it make you trust them? Are you still okay with trusting Bitcoin and Ethereum? It's the, oh, well, there's billions of dollars in Bitcoin, so only $50,000 was stolen, so whatever. Or are you along those lines? I'm kind of along those lines too, but I just need to mention the privacy standards and how at least these exchanges need to up their game. They really need to up their game because, again, you don't hear of normal brokerages getting hacked all the time. So that's just my opinion on this. What do you guys think? And do you think $87, would you actually sell your email address, phone numbers, and name for $87 to some random hacker somewhere? I might actually do that. I'm kidding. I guess what was the last thing I wanted to mention on Bitcoin as well? $87. Anyways, I'll get back to that if I do remember. I thought that there was one more thing that I wanted to talk about, but I think we're going to move on here. So actually, yeah, the one more thing I wanted to talk about was that one person in May, during that $6 million hack, $5 million hack that happened in May, one person lost $200K and didn't get all their money back. $200,000 was stolen from them. So what do you guys think about all that stuff? Do you think that they need to up their privacy standards and so on? So we're going to move on here. We're going to move on to some bad news that has come out of Tesla, actually. So this actually came from an analyst, a Goldman Sachs analyst named David Tamburino, and he lowered his 6-month price target of Tesla from $190 to $180. So representing a 49% downside in the next 6 months for Tesla. So he expects the Tesla stock to go down 49% in the next few months. Largely because, well, a few reasons here. So the first of which is that, well, he doesn't expect the Tesla 3, the Model 3, to be any good. They're not expecting them to produce as much. And also, so Tesla missed their production estimates for the second quarter, which just closed out about last week, 5 days ago. And so what happened here was that they announced that they only produced 22,000 cars of Model S and Model X. Meanwhile, their forecast was about 23,500, and most people wanted about 24,200 cars to be produced in that quarter. And so there was that. The reason why Tesla didn't produce that much was not because the cars weren't ready. It was because the battery that powers the cars, which is the largest part of it, they didn't produce enough of them in time. So that was Tesla's excuse for that. And so what do you think we saw in the Tesla stock today? We actually did see some whoa, and they've been dipping down since I've been talking about this too. So for the first time, Tesla had some bad news and the stock actually went down. Weird. So currently, wow, Tesla's been, even since I've been filming this in the last 15 minutes, they've dropped 2% in the last 15 minutes, but they're down on the day 7.24% in one day. And so here's stock news. Yes, Tesla has been overvalued for so long. I completely 100% agree with that. I've been agreeing with that for a long time. They should be dipping down a little bit more. But does missing production by 2,000 cars in one quarter, 2,000 cars in one quarter, does that devalue Tesla today $5 billion? Because that's what we're seeing here today, or about $4 billion in market cap. So this is where the news just doesn't make sense. Yes, Tesla's been overvalued for so long, but does this news devalue the company by 7%? We're talking about a $50 billion company, $55 billion company. Does missing 2,000 cars in production devalue them by essentially $4.5 billion? No, it doesn't. And so this is just where I'm really torn right now. Like, this is news that people are over-exaggerating about, and yet they are still overvalued. It's just, I don't really know what to think about this. So what do you guys think? Do you think that I think it's because people think that they're going to be missing production for Model 3 coming out. And so the analyst said this, that it's because they're not focusing as much on their current models that are out, the Model S and Model X. So why would we expect them to focus as much on the Model 3? Why would we expect them to hit their marks for Model 3? And this came recently from news, I think yesterday or 2 days ago I talked about this, about how Tesla was hitting their Model 3 production earlier. They were starting it earlier so that they don't miss these production standards. And so I'm really, really torn on this. What do you guys think about Tesla right now? Do you think that they're going to be fine? Do you think that they're going to actually make a profit for the first time ever in the next 2 years? I don't really know. I'm torn on them. Leave a comment down below. I'm really interested to seeing what you hear on Tesla. Is that a good time to buy them? Do you think Model 3 will be okay? Do you think it's a good time to buy? I mean, we're talking about a 7% down day. And these are the days where I like to buy these kinds of tech stocks. So only when I do buy tech stocks, I only buy them 20% of the time. So anyways, we're going to move on into more electric car news. Volvo, a pretty big auto manufacturer here. Actually, what's their market cap here? I believe I have it up here. Their market cap, $312 billion. So one of the biggest companies in the world. They announced massive news today about how by 2019, all of their new cars will be electric or hybrid. All of them. They will not make a pure gasoline-powered car after 2019. Or starting in 2019. That is massive news just as world news as a whole. We're talking about a company, $312 billion market cap. They're pumping out millions and I'm guessing millions of vehicles a year, right? And so the fact that they're all going to be electric, one, good for the environment. So I'm always pro that. Same with a hybrid. Hybrids, all good for the environment. But what this also means is that the electric car industry is growing. I mean, we've seen, I think Chevrolet has been doing that. We've been seeing, I think Mercedes also talked about this too recently. We're seeing some pretty big car companies go towards the electric car field. They're seeing that it's a space that consumers want, especially, super liberal, high net worth liberal people, right? That's just what we're seeing, save the planet, right, for $90,000. And I'm totally okay with that. I'm probably going to get an electric car when I'm older. Probably in a couple of years, I hope, after my SUV here dies. My gas guzzling, super nice, super big SUV that everyone, all the environmentalists hate me for. So I'm probably going to get one of these too. But what do you guys think of the electric car manufacturing field right now? I mean, I guess it's growing. I mean, Tesla stock's way up apart from today. We're talking all the other auto manufacturers are starting to make their own models, and now we're saying Volvo's completely converting. That's really big news. That is massive news today. So I have some quotes here from this article, actually. So the rest of the auto industry is likely to make similar moves in the next few years, said Sam, can't pronounce his last name, who is a senior analyst at a Navigant research company. And largely the luxury high-end auto manufacturers, they're going to be the first ones to do the same thing as Volvo. Volvo's fairly high-end, right? So I think Audi, like we're seeing, I think it was Audi and Mercedes were the other two here. So I'm going to keep talking here. Fully electric and hybrid vehicle sales have risen since 2012, but have still only accounted for 2.6 million cars per year, or about 3.3% of the worldwide new vehicle sales. However, they expect that this will increase to around 3.7 million sales in 2018 and to more than 9 million by 2025. I think it'll be more than 9 million by 2025. What do you guys think? More than 9 million electric cars by 2025? Oh, per year. Yes, that's right. So per year. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. So that's about 9% of sales in 2018 will be electric cars, is what they expect. And so, or in 2025. Yes, in 2025. So, what do you guys think about this? So for me personally, I want to say on an anecdotal perspective that I've seen more electric cars on the road even in this past month, just in terms of Teslas, and I think I think it was a Chevy car. But I've been seeing tons of Teslas recently. Maybe it's the same guy, probably not. But I've seen them more in the past month than I have in the past. I swear, I've probably seen more in terms of quantity of electric vehicles in the past month than I have seen in the past 5 years combined. Apart from maybe, I guess smart cars are in there too, right? And so I'd say maybe in the past 3 months, I've seen more electric cars than I have in the past 5 years. And so have you guys seen that trend as well? I guess it would depend on where you live. So what do you guys think of the electric cars? What do you guys think of this news? Do you think it's a good thing? Do you think it's a bad thing? Are you guys the classic, well, I want those gas guzzling vehicles out there? Why am I saying in that old, like 50-year-old conservative voice? I want those gas guzzling vehicles, right? I like the noise. I like the engine rattling. Are you the type of person that takes the muffler off your car or whatever makes that noise? If so, you're a dick. Put that muffler back on the car. I don't like hearing that at 1 a.m. when you're going through stop signs at freaking 50 miles an hour. So, anyways, we're going to move on from that rant. We're going to move on to, I don't think we have enough time to talk about the Italian banks. That's been a big crisis that's been going on in the past in the past, I guess, few months technically, but big news broke out in the past few weeks. So I think that we're going to leave that for another video, maybe on a slower day, because that problem ain't going away. But we're going to move on here to Lyft. So Lyft made an announcement today that they are officially up to about 1 million rides per day. So congratulations, Lyft. You officially are like 40% or 30% of the way to Uber, if that. So Uber, for comparison, I couldn't get the exact numbers here, but one news article said that Uber's doing about 5 to 6 million rides per day, which is, that's substantial, right? But some other estimates said that Uber was only doing about 2 million rides per day. And so I don't know what Uber's number is, but all in all, Lyft is still the little brother of Uber. However, it's catching up. I mean, Lyft's growth, here's what I was impressed about. Only 6 months ago, they were doing about half that. They were doing about 500,000 rides per day, and now they're at 1 million. They're growing, guys. And I've been hearing ads all the time. I think a large reason why they're doing so many more rides is because I've been hearing on, especially podcasts I listen to, I don't hear Uber rides. I don't hear a lot of Uber ads. Now, I actually have heard a few, but I don't hear a lot of them. I hear Lyft in a lot of them. And so Lyft's trying to get out there. Lyft's trying to grow. They're spending money to make money. So do you think that, here's a question actually. So Uber planning on IPOing, I guess sometime this year. We don't really know anymore since the CEO left or resigned or fired, whatever you want to call it. Do you think that Uber's going to IPO anytime soon? And do you think that Lyft could, with all the Uber scandals that have come out in the past 2 years, do you think that Lyft could catch Uber? It's a really intriguing question. I mean, this is positive results here. This is something where, I think it's a possibility. I think that I would be betting on Lyft to at least take more of the market share. I mean, there was another article I saw that Lyft has roughly 30 to 40% of the market share. Some analysts say it's 20%. I'll just say 30%. And so I guess if we do 30%, I guess Uber, in terms of rides per day, they would be around, 2.5 to 3 million rides per day. So that would be a better estimate. So do you think that Lyft could be cutting into the market share of Uber? Currently at roughly 30% market share, do you think that they could get 40, 50% more? I mean, they were talking maybe 15% market share just a few months ago. And now they're at 30%. So anyways, I'm bullish on Lyft right now. Obviously, they're not a stock. They're a private company. I don't even know if they're going to IPO anytime soon. I still think that they have a long way to go in terms of IPOing and building up a giant company like Uber has. But it's a possibility, and I'm all for Lyft, and this is what I love about capitalism. All right, this is what I do love about it. You have Uber, who has essentially had a monopoly on this, and then Lyft's been the little brother the entire time, and the little brother's growing up and catching, and now we're seeing some competition for the first time. So Uber not paying their drivers as much, all of a sudden Lyft's just like, oh, hey, you know what? Maybe we should start paying our drivers more than Uber. And maybe that will get some more drivers out there. It'll help expand the Lyft brand. It'll help grow the customer base and the service base as a whole. So I'm really happy with what Lyft is doing. I hope that they do well. And you know what? We're going to move on to the next topic here, actually, some worse news. There has been another death in the retail business world, and this one is True Religion. So this is a giant jean company, jean manufacturing company. They're also a retail store chain, and they have officially declared bankruptcy. And they've actually had, strangely enough, they've had fairly good sales in the past few years. I mean, they haven't really been down. They've kind of plateaued, but they have so much debt right now. They've actually declared bankruptcy, and so their reasoning behind this is like, look, we're not getting as much sales as we thought we would because people are just not going into our stores anymore. They're just not showing up. We have a pretty good, or they said that I think that they have a pretty good in terms of traffic into conversion to sales rate. It's just that they're not getting as much traffic. All of these stores that are in malls, shopping plazas, and so on, the people just aren't going into them as much anymore. They aren't, and so people aren't buying as many jeans as they thought. And so they're going bankrupt. And now for all of you millennial or really young millennials out there, True Religion was a pretty big clothing brand, I guess, jean brand about, I don't know, 10 years ago now, 2007, 2008, and they've been on the kind of semi-decline. Their sales have actually been okay over the past decade, but we haven't seen them explode like other brands have, right? And so they've officially, last year they closed 20 stores because obviously they need to cut expenses somewhere. They only have 140 stores left. And actually, their chief financial officer, I want to give this guy props. I don't know his name, but I want to give him props actually. And he's been able to neutralize 75% of the company's debt in a debt for equity exchange. So they were able to, just to neutralize a lot of their debt. And you don't see that too often. You don't see a lot of banks willing to take on the risk of taking on equity of a company. But I guess in this scenario, if they could avoid the company going under as a whole, the bank was willing to take it on. And so that's pretty big. I mean, I probably wouldn't do that. Maybe I'd have to, because here's the deal. They cut down $535 million worth of debt. I believe that's the number, just from this one deal here. And so this also comes with the promise that the company will restructure itself to focus more into the online retail world. Man, Amazon's just killing everyone right now. They're just killing everyone. Man. So this is just another retailer that's just, sayonara. What's the word? Sayonara? I don't even know. They're dead, is what I'm trying to say here. So hopefully they can adapt. We're seeing Nike adapt. Here's another clothing retail brand that's trying to adapt, and we will see what happens to them. I don't really know because they aren't too big. I mean, I think that they have a market cap of somewhere around $530 million. They're not a public company, I don't think, but I think that they have a valuation of somewhere around $530 million. Might be a little bit more than that, but we're going to see what happens to them. So just another moment of silence for a death in the business world. Okay, that's enough. We're going to move on to the next thing I want to talk about here is some big acquisitions that happened today. One which is proposed and one that actually went through today. It's not the Walgreens one. We're going to talk about WorldPay. And for those of you that are in the United States and North America, WorldPay is essentially PayPal for the United Kingdom. That's what it is. So WorldPay it was proposed that they would be acquired for $10 billion from Vantiv, which is just essentially another American online payment processing company similar to PayPal. And so that just got proposed today, and they agreed to it. Now, it's going to take probably usually it takes about a year for this to go through the trades commissions and stuff like that, and that both parties agree, that do their due diligence and so on. So that's a big proposition, a $10 billion acquisition that might go through, which is, it's kind of funny. This probably won't get talked about, but the Whole Foods brand, that deal was only about $14 billion. This one's 10, and no one's going to talk about it. So this is why you got to watch the Jack Chapple YouTube channel here. So actually, remember, like and subscribe to this channel. It actually means a lot to me. I talk about business pretty much every day. So leave a like, subscribe. I'm going to keep talking, though, so just remember to do that. It means a lot to me. So, so there's a big acquisition that happened today. One that officially went through the Trades Commission was Bass Pro buys Cabela. Which is, most of you probably don't know Cabela too well. It's essentially an outdoorsy company similar to Bass Pro. And so Bass Pro acquired them. It officially went through today, $5 billion. Cabela has 85 stores. A lot of them are in Canada. But here's the interesting part. Here's why the acquisition was really good for Bass Pro, was that Cabela has, I believe, 38% of their revenue comes through online sales. And I think somewhere around 10 to 12 to 15% of their revenue comes from their credit cards that they sell. And so that's actually really, really interesting because it's like Bass Pro's entry into the online world. Bass Pro does do online, but now this is an easier transition for them. They're not buying bricks and mortar retail outdoors companies or an outdoor company. They're buying essentially an online outdoor company, which is really, really cool. A really smart decision. I looked into that today. So that's proposed. It'll, we'll see if it goes through in the next year. I don't think it's going to make a monopoly, so I don't see why it wouldn't go through. Maybe unless that there's some sort of legal stuff within the companies that isn't resolved, but that's going to probably go through, so I'll keep you guys updated on that. So we're going to talk more about the stock market, winners and losers, and the stock market as a whole today. So I believe, has the closing bell gone? Yeah, I think it's gone out. It's gone. So As of right now, Dow Jones closed out at about it's essentially an average day in the stock market. Closed out at 0.06% above where it traded today. So NASDAQ was up 0.72%, S&P 500 up about 0.2%, New York Stock Exchange down 0.21%. So all in all, an average day from them. But I want to talk more specifically about some stocks here, some specific stocks. So some of the winners today were, Nvidia was a big one. Nvidia had, or I guess that they've been down actually in the past, I guess 30, 40 minutes since I've been recording this. But Nvidia, it was announced that the company Baidu, I forget how to pronounce it, they're a lot bigger. I think that they're bigger in Asia, right? Everything's bigger in Asia, is it? So it was announced that I think the company Baidu would announce that they are going to partner with Nvidia for them to help out with their self-driving car services that Baidu provides, also their cloud services and so on. So a pretty big deal for Nvidia. That's an extra potential tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue that they could get in the next few years. So that's good. They were one of the stock market winners, so they were up 2.3% today. Let's see here. What else? Another winner here. Advanced Micro Devices. Advanced Micro Devices. So people were like jumping off cliffs that this went down a few weeks ago, right? They were down, let's see, last week they were down, from June 22nd to July 3rd, they were down 15%. And today alone, they rebounded 8.56%. Now this was largely, I think, because inadvertently, it was a company like Baidu, how do you pronounce it? Baidu, I don't really know, announcing that they were going to be using a lot of essentially chip companies, chip makers in the future. And so I think that's one of the reasons why the stock went up 8.56% today. So good job, whoever bet on that. Congratulations, especially if you bet, I mean, if you bet $1 million, you made 800 or you made 85 grand today. So good job for that. We're going to move on here to, those were the big winners today. I think that Volvo, I guess I mentioned them already, they're up 1%. But boy, did we have some losers today. Holy Jesus. So the biggest loser today, which I have not seen a drop like this since, I can't even remember, in a company that is not a penny stock. We're talking about a stock that trades at $178. They're down, O'Reilly Automotive Inc., 18.89% today. They dropped off a cliff. This is this was a $20 billion company, and they dropped 20% in one day. Now, this is largely because their second quarter sales were down substantially. I couldn't really get a specific number here. Maybe I could find one right here. So the sales were up, but they just weren't up as much as expected. Oh my God. Auto sales in June rose at a seasonal adjusted rate. Auto data said on Monday down 13.2% year on year. So again, this isn't, I can't really find any specific information on the company as a whole, but I'm guessing sales just weren't even close to what they expected here. So they crashed. Oh, you know what? That's why. It was auto sales as a whole were down this year. And so they crashed along with, guess what? Another company called Advanced Auto Parts were down 15.65% today. I couldn't get actually, here's the, okay, so they were down, their closing was down 11.15%. I didn't know why that didn't update. So Advanced Auto Parts, they lost almost $1 billion today in market cap. So they were down today. In another auto parts company, AutoZone, let's see if this will actually update for me for the first time. I believe that they were down 10%. Yeah, they're down 10%, 9.92% today, 9.6% now. I mean, we're talking a major, major hit to the automotive industry today. This is, what do you guys think? So all these companies, by the way, they're automotive parts. So that's, they're not like Volvo, right? They're not car sales, they're automotive part sales. So this is big news, guys. I mean, we're talking billions of dollars just flowed out of the auto industry today. Billions, not automotive sales, just building the parts. So, I mean, is this a good time to buy them? None of these companies produce a dividend, correct? I guess one of them produces a 0.2% dividend. I'm sure that's going to go away after today. But what do you guys think? Is this a time to buy? When companies are down 20% in one day, and we're talking a multi-billion-dollar company, that's a sign to buy, guys. So Again, they were a massive loser today. And also, I just wanted to mention Tesla. Tesla down 7% today, so we mentioned them already. But again, I guess that they got a double whammy today. Car sales were down, plus they missed their earnings or their production estimates. So two really, just the automotive industry was down today. So I guess we should check in on sectors. So another tech rebound today. So tech's up 1% today as a whole. Let's see here. Utilities down 0.4%. Telecom down 0.36%. Energy down, man, oil dropped 3% today again. Energy is down 2% today. Health is up 0.5%, and the rest of the sectors here were, within 0.25% of gain or loss. So, real estate was down 1.2% today. So that was actually interesting too. And we're going to cover the big stocks here just quickly. So Twitter up 0.96%. Walmart stayed the same. McDonald's up 0.37%. Netflix up 1%. Facebook up 1.29%, Apple up 0.41%, Nvidia up 2.67%. Is this updated? I just mentioned Nvidia, so this is probably about half an hour behind. Amazon up 1.86%, Google up 1.39%, and that's going to cover the big stocks today. So I'd like to thank you very much for watching. Check out my stock market program in the link below. I do some stock breakdowns. I think I'll do a few today. I'll do a few stock breakdowns today, actually, along with my portfolio update today. I think that I got kicked in the keister. One of my stocks went way down today. One of my largest holdings went way down today, and has gone way down in the past weeks here. By way down, I'm only talking, a few percentage points, 2-3%, something like that. So, but all in all, all tech was up today. Everything was. All in all, today was just essentially an average day in the stock market. But yeah, check out my stock market program in the link below. I should have some more videos up today for breakdowns and so on. So check that out. I'd like to thank you very much for watching. Remember to leave a like on this video. Leave a review on iTunes. That really helps me out a lot. The podcast has been doing really well recently. Just thank you very much for watching. You're all very beautiful people, and I'll see you guys in the next video.